Hey guys, how are you all? I'm just gonna hop on and chat with you guys a little bit. It's been a week, but trying to jump back into things, trying to what's the words I'm trying to say? Be a little bit more active on here. It's been a crazy couple of days on this end. So I know I've been trying to get in there and answer questions, things like that, get some of the questions answered with videos, all of that kind of stuff. But I wanted to hop on here live and chat with you guys for a little bit. If y'all had any questions. I just realized I haven't put on mascara today. I haven't done anything today. I've been a little crazy. I feel like I say that every single day. What's everybody up to today? How's everybody doing? I'm gonna roll back here behind me real quick and grab something. If I can find it. Oh no. Hang on, guys. I'm coming back. I promise. I'm just looking for... I thought I had a new tube of mascara back here, but I cannot find it. Well, I have some. It's just not... It's not the ones that I want, but I did find some. Hey, Julie, I'm good. How are you? Missy, you want to sign up for the course? What days is the instructor led? So depending on the session that you sign up for, it's either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So the one that starts June 3rd, I think it's a Tuesday. Let me double check my brain. I have one seat left for that class. So June 3rd, yes, June 3rd is a Tuesday. I don't know why I said Wednesday. June 3rd is a Tuesday. And then June 26th would be the one after that. That's a Thursday. So, you had your baby in November. You want to brush up from the beginning. So, you did the legacy course, right? Or did you do a different course? Yes, Missy, it is just 1 day a week. Yep. Different one. Okay. So if you're wanting to brush up, go out to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel does have a lot of ICD-10-CM guideline review series. There's study group sessions that are out there. Things along those lines. Our YouTube channel is a really, really good option to kind of brush up and get familiar with that stuff. It's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Missy. So if you are in Central, it would be 5. If you're in Mountain, it would be 4. Pacific would be 3. Yes, you can self-study for a CPC. Absolutely. There are some people that start it and figure out that they need an instructor, and there's some people that do it and they succeed and they're able to kind of stick up with kind of like the learning process and things like that. So yeah. Oh yeah, the subscription's a really good option too. That you can do book prep and ask questions and all of that kind of stuff as well. Let me look and make sure that one spot for June 3rd hasn't already filled. Because that was this morning whenever I had looked, and it's been a couple hours. So I'm going to see if it has filled or not. Yep, there's still one in stock. There's still one seat available. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about it. I've been through that. It's rough, but I promise you do come back a lot better on the other side. Sorry, I'm going to do my mascara here real quick since I realized that I hadn't done it yet. I haven't used this mascara in forever, like this brand. So, I don't remember if I liked it or not. I had an extra one in my drawer, but we'll see. Oh, my hair is getting on my nerves. I don't know if you all can hear it, but there's a fly, and it keeps running into the mirror that's back there. Yeah, I remember. I don't hate it, but it definitely is not my favorite. I have real coarse lashes, and so, sorry, that hair is driving me crazy. I have really coarse lashes, so it tends to clump on my lashes more. With self-paced, yes, you can do it anytime. You can start as soon as your enrollment is processed. And you have 12 months as well with both instructor-led and self-paced. So those numbers next to the codes and the code descriptions, those are your relative value units or your RVUs. That is going to tell you how complex the procedure is. And those come into play when you are coding from scratch and help you with sequencing. So CPT codes are sequenced in descending order from complexity. So the higher the number, the more complex the procedure. Steph, you're studying for class tonight. Yeah, it's a lot. But I just got it on my contact. It's a lot, but it'll get easier as we get further through the course. Hey, Jen. How are you? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Now I remember why I had the extra and I hadn't used it. head's starting to hurt. Yeah, must have a like a cold front or a warm front or some kind of front where the pressure's changing, moving in. Anybody doing anything fun today? Devin, yeah. Chapter 10 is 100% a doozy. For sure. Absolutely. But you got through it. So that is the positive. You got through it. You survived. And chapter 11 is 10 times easier. Skipped it and came back. Yeah. Yep. So it's really weird. I have crooked eyebrows. Like one just sits naturally higher than the other. And it's annoying. There's something underneath my chair. Is anybody else's dogs? They just drag clothes around the house. Like it's nothing weird. It's just like a shirt or like a sock. Like I have all of the clothes in the bedroom and then I just turned around and apparently there was a shirt underneath my chair because one of the dogs had drug it in here. Weirdos. Love them to death, but they're crazy. Pajamas, yeah. And it's really only one of them. It's the lab pit. He's a mess. He's a Velcro dog. He's in there sleeping at the moment. I'm sure he's probably going to realize I'm talking about him and come in here. Yeah. Yeah, I've got one that will lay on them throughout the house. Once Buddy has trucked them all the way through the house, one of them will lay on them. Buddy's the one that moves them so that they can. Or if there's like, if our laundry hamper is not in the room and there's just like a couple things sitting on the floor, then one of them will go and lay. Yeah. Yep. They definitely do. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry. I had to get my neck to pop because it was getting really tight. Oh, Rachel, you take your test tomorrow. So don't do anything today. If you have done anything today, then just stop and just, kind of relax for the rest of the night. Just give your brain a break, honestly. Like, that's the biggest thing. Are you doing it at home or are you doing it at a testing center? Because depending on which one you do, that'll kind of sway what else I tell you. At a testing center. So pack your bag tonight. That way in the morning you're not rushing. You forget to pack something. Make sure you get all 3 of your manuals. Make sure your ID is in your wallet. Make sure that you have the confirmation email from Measure letting you know, like, here's your confirmation email for the thing. On there will be a like a password that you'll just hand the sheets to the proctor, and the proctor will take that information on your confirmation email, and they will enter it all in for you. So literally all you have to do whenever you get there is show up, show your ID, show them your books, and then they will assign everything in for you, and then you just sit down and take your exam. So tonight, don't do anything. Relax. Pack your bag. That way you don't have to rush in the morning. Make sure that you leave early enough, because depending on if you're anywhere like me, your rush hour doesn't affect your commute, or your rush hour could mean that you run into 4 wrecks on the way type thing. So just take it, just be calm, as calm as you can be in the morning. What did it do this? Sorry, my computer did something weird. Be as calm as you can be. Just relax. Take a couple deep breaths. It's always best to use the current books, but the reason that AAPC allows you to use the year prior is because there's really not many changes. So they tend to wait a little bit for like new codes and things to show up, to make sure that, you know, they're not testing you solely on all the new codes, in case you don't have the books. So, and like I said, it's always best to use it, but if for some reason you can't get the newest version, then you can always use the previous year. Any advice on note taking and highlighting? So Sarah, have you done my book prep that's out there as far as highlighting and annotating and like kind of fencing the family together and all of that? If you haven't, take a look and see if that book prep method will work for you. It does for some people it doesn't. You can go out to the website in my bio, the link in my bio. And then if you look at the individual sections, there's like a sample page for each section. So that way you can see what it looks like. But also, and I'll show you here real quickly, it's not going to be able to be like super clear. And it's backwards and all of the things. But like here's an example of a book prep page. So there are notes, there are highlights, but it's not overwhelming. And then let me find a page that's got some guidelines on it that might help. So here's an example of the highlight pages. So try those out. See if that is something that might help for you, Sarah. Oh, you're still on fundamentals of medicine and notes. Don't take notes during fundamentals of medicine. The key or the what's the word I'm trying to think of? The approach to fundamentals of medicine. The best approach to that is don't feel like you have to memorize everything. Don't feel like you have to know everything. As you get into your coding and you start using that medical terminology and anatomy, then it's going to come back. So you just want to familiarize yourself with all of the information from a med term and anatomy standpoint. So again, you do not have to memorize. I feel like everybody thinks that. And I'll be honest, I felt guilty of it too. Or I felt like I needed to do that too back in the day. But don't feel like you have to memorize them. Just do it to familiarize yourself so that whenever you get to your coding courses, when they start talking about a cholecystectomy, you know what that is, right? Or at least your brain's going to go, oh yeah. And then you're going to remember chole is gall, cyst is bladder, and then your ectomy is removal. So that is a big piece of advice. Again, don't feel like you have to memorize everything. Also, I don't know if you guys know this or not. There's a lot of people that ask, what are some good tabs? What are some good pens? What are things that I need as a coder? So if you guys haven't already, or you haven't been out there in a while, go out to the link in my bio. And then on this link tree, nope, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, I need to take that down. On the link tree, there's an Amazon link. If you click on that, then it takes you to my kind of favorites list of things that are out there. So pens, also have one that's just like daily, like, you know, what I drink and dogs and all that kind of stuff. But on the pens, number one, these pens right here, these Mr. Pen gel pens with the little ball on the edge of them, fantastic. I absolutely love the way that they write. So like, let me find a page that I've written on with them that doesn't have anything that I would not want you guys to see, or that doesn't have something on there that I wouldn't want you to see. I know I've written with it quite a bit. nose is itching. But yeah, these pens are freaking amazing. They're pretty affordable too. I got them on TikTok Shop, but it's a 6-pack of these for $8.99. But I got a bigger pack. So I got these. There's 12 in this pack on TikTok Shop. I think for like $12.99. They didn't have the 12-pack on Amazon, or I would have put those in there. I don't think there's a... Yeah. So you can get different pen colors. Not... The ink is all black, but like you can get different ones. Oh. Just dropped my phone. This is a 12-pack for $13.99. So these are really, really nice. If you are super picky about pens, these are amazing. They've got a real thin tip on them, and they write really, really smoothly. Angela, I have tried the gel highlighters. I'm not a big fan of like the texture of them, and they never really fully dry down, but I do have these. Nope, those aren't the Mr. Pens ones. I do have... if you all could see how many things I have over here. I do have these that I have had. It's like the regular ballpoint pen, and then these are highlighters. These are all black ink again, but these Bible highlighters are really, really good. And then I also ordered, they just came in. Oh, no. Where is the other set of highlighters that I just ordered? I have so many things over here that I'm trying to like find the perfect thing to try them out on, but it's more like a chunky highlighter. And I don't know where they've gone. Oh, no, here they are. So these are really good from a pastel highlighter. If you're not a big fan of this shape here, so see, like it's kind of a weird shape, or you want a thicker chisel on the highlighter, these are really, really good. It's got a thicker chisel, and then it's a little bit easier to kind of hold on to. No, these don't bleed, and then these don't bleed. Yeah, Mr. Pen. Yep. So if you go to the link in my bio, or not the link, yeah, so you can either get them on Amazon, the exact ones that are there. If you go to the Amazon link, it's got the exact ones. Or if you go to my showcase on TikTok Shop, then they're up there as well. Do I have an Amazon storefront? Yes, I do. It's linked in my bio. Yep. So if you go to here on my bio, and then you click on this little Amazon link, then it pulls up. So there's all of like my medical coding favorite things that I like, my tumblers that I use, and then like my drinks and stuff. I have like certain things that I drink every morning, every day, and then dog stuff on there too. But this one here, this one is the one that a lot of people have been really, really liking. So in here, I'll kind of scroll through it. There's a couple different Mr. Pens. If you need coding books, this is the package that you'll want to get for your CPC exam. This is like a little mat. There's different, like different patterns. And then there is, oh yeah, there's another desk mat, keyboards, notebooks. These are going to be your tabs for your ICD-10-CM, your HCPCS, and your CPT. This is my favorite medical terminology and anatomy coding book. That one's good. There's also the Mr. Pen Bible highlighters. These are really good. The Secura Pigma Micron pens. These were my favorite go-tos for forever. But I have recently just gotten and fallen in love with these by Mr. Penn again, the colorful multi-liners. These are really good for writing in your CPT manual. And then I also have blue light blocker glasses. This is my chair. I love it. It's a crisscross chair. It doesn't have the arms and it's really padded on the bottom. And then you've got like stand monitors and things like that. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there. Go out there and look at that storefront and see if there's anything that kind of piques your interest. Yeah, I looked around for forever. I am one of those that always look for a deal too. And I don't want to pay like a ton for shipping and wait forever. So all of the stuff that I've put in my favorites list, like, trust me, if I am saying that I love it, it's a good product. And then these, it's by a brand called Miyoki. They're really nice. It's got let me see if I can do this without spilling everything. So it's got like a mechanism in it that if you don't want this drink to spill, see here, it's got this mechanism that you can pull out your straw and it completely closes the top. So that way, like if you're traveling, it's pretty cool. And these are like fairly cheap. They're like 10 or 15 bucks. Different patterns are different prices. But yeah, these are really, really good. And they keep everything cold. Because I have to essentially drink an electrolyte drink every day. Because my pots, we have to stay hydrated and keep those electrolytes up and all of that. But then I drink a bunch of water on top of it. And it keeps everything super cold. I really only have to fill up my ice maybe twice. So first in the morning, and then depending on my water, it'll melt the ice naturally a little bit. But then there's sometimes that I might have to fill it up once. Some days I don't have to fill it up at all. What's your dog doing, Devin? Mine are always crazy, so knock on wood, there hasn't been a dog barking 4 yards away that has set them off yet, or the wind hasn't blown, or the cat, we have neighborhood cats. We have a big cat colony right in the lake that I live right next to. And there is a big cat colony, and there, so like all of the cats come, all over in the neighborhood all the time. So, they're always in the front yard and driving the dogs crazy. So, knock on wood. The FedEx driver is his own personal enemy. Enemy, yet best friend, and they just don't realize it all at the same time. Yes. Amazon has been at my house every single day for the last 2 weeks because I've just been ordering so much crap to try out for you guys. Some things I've loved, some things I haven't even tried. My husband's had things delivered. So between UPS, FedEx, and Amazon this week, our dogs are way overstimulated. Over the turtles trying to nest. I don't know that it makes sense because they can hear them, but we had at one point last summer, maybe it was 2 summers ago, we had a mole problem. They didn't really tear up let me rephrase that. The moles did not tear up our yard. The dogs trying to get to the moles tore up our yard. So yeah, so our big project this summer is we've got to rent a tiller and get all of it, because it's like off-roading back there with the mower whenever he's out there mowing the grass. So, yeah. Right, Devin. It's like he's bringing you your stuff. Get over it. You like him. He's good. Yeah. Do you all hear the dog snoring now? You see her? She's knocked. I don't know where the others are. They're probably in the living room, making a mess of the couch. And we have couch covers, and I swear I have to wash them every other day because they drool and then they roll all over them with all the dirt, all the things. What do you guys want to talk about? Any questions? Anything that you want to chat about? Look, Facebook was hearing me. Somebody had posted about that textbook, the medical terminology and anatomy book. It's crazy how that works. So study groups. I actually just ended the study group because I but I opened up a class for Wednesday. And so the study groups, we no longer hold them live. You can go out to the YouTube channel. That's, again, the link in my bio. Then you can go out to that YouTube channel, and there are recordings from any of the previous study sessions that we held. How long does it take to do book prep? Most students will do it section by section. So like if you're, whatever class you're taking, if you're doing cardiovascular, then they will prep cardiovascular prior to class or while they're doing homework or whatever. Just that way it kind of correlates with it. So that way it's not, you're having to sit down and do it for forever. I have not clocked it. That is a big question that I've gotten this year, is how long does it take it? And I'll be honest, I do it a little bit here, a little bit there every year whenever I get the next year's ready. So that's on my list of things to do this year whenever I get the 2026 stuff to start prepping it, is I am going to clock it and see how long it takes me to do it. And then that'll give you guys a good idea. You just got certified and struggling with finding a job. Any recommendations? Have you had your resume professionally reviewed and done? I know there's a lot of people that are out there that say, oh, I didn't get my resume professionally done and I was able to land a job. But they may have work experience. They may have had the right words in there, all of those things. But there is a trend that if you have your resume professionally reviewed and done, then there is a higher chance of you getting interviews and things along those lines. So that's the biggest thing. Yeah, so is it a good book? The Medical Terminology and Anatomy book, it is hands down probably my favorite med term and anatomy book that's out there. I wish I had this whenever I was a student, but my program used a totally different one. Granted, this was years and years and years ago, and I don't even know that this book would have even existed back then. I don't know. But it has all of your chapters, and then you'll see that it's got like some EMR systems in there. It's got good illustrations and good exercises, and then it's got some tables of terms and things that correlate with it. So yeah, it's probably my favorite book. Jessica, is the CPC CPB program difficult? That's kind of a relative question, to be totally honest, because there's going to be some people that pick up on it easier. There's going to be some people that have to study a little bit more and kind of dedicate themselves to. But if you do the course with Legacy, which is where I'm a coach, just remember that we are there for you through every step of the way. So if you're ever struggling with anything, then don't hesitate to reach out. We can, jump on a call. We can, explain things through email, whichever is easier for you. But all of our students at the end of it have felt very comfortable with the information, whether it be that they've done self-study or self-paced, and they have done it, basically very independently. Or if they have reached out pretty regularly, all of our students feel very, very prepared. I don't know why words are hard today. Paula, so you did your book prep as you went through your chapters. Yeah. Do you have to sit for a final test for the fundamentals of medicine? No, it's not a certification for the fundamentals of medicine. There's just a final exam at the end of the course. That's all it is. Yeah, if you want to do the boot camp and watch it the day after, then yeah, absolutely. The recording typically doesn't process until the next day. So yes, usually it is available on Sunday for you guys to view. You just finished integumentary for CPT. It was hard for me. Yeah, it's the first one that you're doing CPT wise. So that one is a fairly straightforward chapter, but yet confusing all at the same time. Again, because it's the first CPT section that you guys are doing. Do you have a starting point if you are not in our course? Yeah, so just make sure that you have a good textbook. So what course are you going through? I guess that's kind of the main question. Are you self-studying or are you going through a course? You've already been a coder for over a year with a great company. Is it worth getting your CPC? You will, eventually that is going to be a hard, fast requirement. Most of your employers are already requiring it now. If you think that you might potentially look at other opportunities, or it could even show your employer that you, have that dedication and you have that certification and that knowledge. So it could help you with future job placement for sure. You have your CPC on June 5th. Good luck. Good luck. Thanks for subscribing. Marie, what do you mean by do you tan? I'm assuming that was a typo. Tan or code first. I don't know what the tan is probably supposed to be. Self-study. Okay, so if you are self-studying, make sure you have a good textbook. If you don't already have foundations in medical terminology and anatomy, or at least knowledge of those, that textbook that I just showed you guys, the medical terminology and anatomy for coding, this one here, this is a really good resource. Make sure that you have that foundation before you get into coding, because it's a whole nother language whenever you get in there. And if you don't have that knowledge, then it's going to make it more difficult to pick up on the coding aspect of things. MRC, I haven't completely decided if I'm going to just add YouTube Live or if I'm going to completely switch over yet. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. Breland, I don't have my CCS, so I can't really speak to that, to be totally honest. I am going to be working on that this year, but I do not have it. So, tabbing. Duh, Marie. I probably should have figured that out. I like to encourage students not to tab their books so that they will kind of learn the layout of the book a little bit better. So it's really up to everybody where you can try to not tab, and then if you find that you need those tabs, then you can, versus you buying the tabs, investing in them, and then realizing that you don't like them type thing. So try it out without tabs first. In the exam, do you have to do math in your integumentary system? There's usually, if there is, it's more like just adding centimeters together, or something along those lines. But there's really not a whole lot of math. Been a CNA for 15 plus years, worked as a phlebotomist, got your MA license. Would you buy the medical? I mean, if you feel like you have a pretty good understanding of it, no, I don't think you need the book at all. How hard is the exam? Again, that's kind of a relative answer or a relative question, because it's gonna depend on the questions that you get. It depends on your areas that you struggle with, or the areas that you're strong in. It's going to depend on a lot of things. So if you understand your guidelines, you understand the layout of the book and how to use your manual, then it's usually fairly simple. What people struggle with is not knowing the layout of the book or where to find things. And then they get flustered, and then they either run out of time or they have to guess because they can't find the answer. I can tell rain is moving in because my head and my neck are getting tight. You're getting done with the fundamentals of medicine course. Yeah. Have you learned? Do you feel like you've learned a lot? Do you feel like you've learned anything, Bree? If not, it's totally fine. You're going to apply it in your medical coding course, and it's going to make a lot more sense once you get into it and all of that. What about LT, RT modifiers? Problem knowing when to use them and when not to use them. So think about, is it do you have two of something? Okay. So if you have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 tibias, 2 fibias, 2 radiuses, whatever it is, right? If you have 2 of something, then your LT, RT modifier would need to be used. If we're talking about the skin, so in the integumentary system, if you're talking about the skin is not a bilateral organ. So if you're doing a biopsy on the left arm, you're not going to use your LT because it's not a bilateral concept. But if you have 2 of something, then you want to use your LT-RT. Is the exam only multiple choice right now? Yes, it is all multiple choice. Fill in the blanks will be coming, but we don't know when. We don't know how many. We just know that they are coming. We don't know any more details than you guys know. But as soon as we find out, we will let you guys know. So our program, if you do, yes, so we do billing as well. If you do the billing and the coding, then the self-paced for billing and coding. So your CPB and the CPB and CPC. That one, self-paced is $3,300. If you do the instructor-led for the dual course, the CPC and CPB, that one is $4,200. Yeah, Kimmy. The skin, and yeah, a lot of people tend to get confused and struggle with the skin and your anatomic modifiers. But just remember, the only thing in the integumentary system that you would need a left-right bilateral would be the breasts. Other than that, the skin is not a bilateral component. And you just need just the code. Jessica, you're doing the self-pay start next month. Have you signed up yet? If you haven't, when you do sign up, make sure you use that code TRCC. And then for, who was it that was asking? Freedom with Rebecca. Make sure that whenever you guys sign up, you are using code TRCC, and that way you'll get 10% off. Not yet. Yeah. Okay. No, totally fine. I just wanted to make sure that you had that code if you have not signed up yet so that you can save that 10%. Yes, book prep is still available, 100%. It's always out there on the website. So medicalbillcode.com/CPC. And you can grab that book prep. That code, that TRCC code for 10% off is also good for... Sorry, I just got a weird email. I think it's a spam email. Yeah. Hey, Suzanne, how are you? I feel like I haven't seen you on a live, or I feel like I haven't talked to you. I felt we talked every week in class, and then we talked a little bit afterwards. Sorry. Working on Practicode. I'm telling you, it's a beast. It's a beast in itself. But are you learning? Do you feel like you're learning? Paula, yes, the TRCC is good for the AAPC practice exams. It is good for anything that you can purchase on that medicalbillcode.com website. I'm itchy today. I've been scratching. This is my itchy season. I am always itchy in the spring. Always itchy, and I always have a headache. Learning a ton. Good. Yeah. Devin, don't be scared of it. Suzanne can tell you. Like, it's a lot. But as she just said, she is learning so much from it. It is definitely a good learning tool. You definitely get a ton of practice, a ton of knowledge, more so than what you would ever get from the course too. Yeah. The course is designed to teach you the fundamentals, the basics, and then to be able to pass the exam. And then the Practicode is going to give you what real world records might look like, so that whenever you go out into the real world, you have some sort of a gauge. Any tips on what to look out for starting the musculoskeletal system? The hardest part of the musculoskeletal system is remembering all of the bones, because we have 206 bones in the... Where did I get 300? Right? 200? Or is it 306? I don't know. You have a bunch of bones. My poor brain. You have a bunch of bones, figuring out where they all are, what the names of them are. Again, you don't have to memorize them, but just absorb as much of it as you can as you're going through the sections. If you finish the course in 3 months, will that count as the first? Yeah. So, in order to get the apprenticeship, if that's what you're talking about, in order to get the apprenticeship taken off, then you have to have an 80-hour structured course like the AAPC course. And And then you have to have a second year, whether it be Practicode, whether it be real world experience, whatever it might be. So yes, regardless of how long or how little it takes you to complete the course, that is going to count as that quote unquote first year to remove the apprenticeship. JD, that's awesome. Congratulations. So you passed last November, landed a coding job a month ago. Do you have any pointers or suggestions for people that either are still looking for jobs, what worked for you, what did not work for you? Again, I can talk till I'm blue in the face. It's been forever since I've been in the job search. But hearing it from someone that has recently done it is always nice. Jessica, you have up to 12 months to complete the course. So again, you can complete it as quickly as you want. If you want to work on it all day, every day, then you can, complete it as quickly as you want, or it can take you that full year for sure. Yeah. Yes, keep your application fresh. Make your resume coding focused. Did you have your resume professionally done, JD? Or did you do it yourself? Or both? As soon as you updated your resume, you had your job offer in a month. That's amazing. That's great. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. You use ChatGPT? Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations. You enrolled with Preppy to become certified. The program that you enrolled in with Preppy, is that the one that goes through AAPC? No, it's Penn Foster that has the two. So yeah, Preppy is only the one through AAPC, I think. Good. I'm glad that the study sessions helped. Awesome. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. It feels like I've got 18 different things going on today. So I ordered on TikTok as well. I'm such a nerd, guys. Like you guys have no idea how big of a nerd I am. I ordered on TikTok Shop an anatomy coloring book. I know I've had a lot of people, been asking about like different ways to learn because everybody's learning styles are different. And I found this really, really good anatomy coloring book, supposedly really good. I've heard people talk about it. So I'm hopefully going to get that in and, as weird but you guys are just as weird as I am, like in a good way. I will probably do a couple lives where, I'm just going through the coloring book and showing you guys what it's like and doing that with you. Suzanne, do you already have your appointment set up with Sarah? I feel like I saw that email, but again, I don't know if I'm coming or going. You want to get the AAPC practice test through. Yeah, so we have a total of 12 of them available through Legacy Education. So we have the traditional A through F that you can get directly from AAPC. But then since we are a licensed program with AAPC, then we have 6 additional. So 1 through 6 that are available on our website as well. The higher the letter and the higher the number, the more difficult they get. Yeah, Suzanne. So 4 through 6 are the hardest. Yeah, but those are the ones that are going to teach you the most. So you've been a nurse for over 30 years. You want to get certified in coding. Okay. Have you looked at our program at Legacy? I just realized I got really like super burnt over the weekend and I thought it was going away, but it definitely has not. I just noticed that as I pressed on my forehead. Perks of being a redhead. And yes, I am a natural redhead. This is not my natural red color because it's faded over the years, but I am a natural redhead. This is pretty close to what it naturally was whenever I was a teenager or as a kid. Let me actually show you guys. I found this gem as I was doing some stuff a couple weeks ago. Let me figure out where it is in my massive camera roll of all the things. So that was me. That was my red hair in high school. So yeah. Natural redheads. I burned walking from the house to the car. So it is not fun, but it is what it is. More information on Legacy and the cost. Okay, so the course with Legacy is an AAPC licensed course. So it is the exact same course that you would get directly through them. We also offer a bunch of perks like book prep, coaching as often as you need it. You get resume services. Sorry, my brain is like totally done today. You get resume services. You get, I have it all written down so that I can just show you. But now I can't find, here it is. I was going to say, but now I can't find my notebook. So you get, I know it's backwards. You get the AAPC course. You get your textbook and your workbook, all 3 of your coding manuals. You get book prep. You get coaching as often as you need it. You get 1 AAPC practice exam. You get 50 to 75 questions per chapter additional. You get resume services, 1 year of AAPC membership, 2 exam vouchers. Let me flip this around while I'm doing this so you guys can actually read what I'm saying if you want to take a screenshot of it. So you get 2 exam vouchers, 1 year of AAPC membership, Practicode, and that is going to be what removes your apprenticeship. And then you get your HCC internship on top of that. So that internship is what is going to give you on-the-job experience. And then, sorry, my phone is now telling me, TikTok is telling me I have to validate myself so that I don't not go live. So all of that, if you do the self-paced, is $2,700. Brings it down to like $2,430, I think, if you use this TRCC code for 10% off. And then you also get the instructor-led is all of this, but you get 3 hours of instruction with me per week. It could either be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on the session that you sign up for. I have 1 seat left for Tuesday the 3rd. So that starts in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Starts in 3 weeks. Or a Thursday class is starts on June 26th. So if you want to sign up, sorry, last thing, and then I'll unmirror it. So if you want to take a screenshot of it and then sign up here at medicalbillcode.com/CPC. All right, so I'm going to unmirror because I can't, it looks so weird when it's not mirrored. So yeah, that's everything that's included in the Legacy course. Amanda, no, I have it written down here that I need to do it. My life is crazy. So no, I have not done it yet, but I will figure it out. I was actually laying in bed last night and I was like, oh yeah, what was that notebook? But I didn't feel like getting up and walking into the other room. But had I had the Rocket book, I could have scanned stuff into my phone and I could have looked at it. So no, I will do that today. You have identical twin nieces who are redheads. That's awesome. I don't know why my screen keeps doing something funky. Do you have to purchase a membership to take your CPC? Yes, you do have to be current on your membership in order to sit for the CPC. How does the resume service work with Sarah? Are you a student, Natalie? Remind me. Are you a student of Legacy? If you are a student of Legacy, email Rachel. And Rachel can get you in touch with Sarah. If you are not a student of Legacy, if you go to the link in my bio and then scroll all the way down to the bottom, her link is there if you want to hook up with her. What's the difference between CPC and CPB? CPC is your coding, your professional coding certification. So you're going to learn how to extract things from the record and put your basically your procedures and your diagnoses into codes. And then your CPB is going to be based on laws, regulations, rules, and the way things should be billed to the insurance company. So you're starting chapter 4 and you're still lost. Is that normal? Yes and no. Chapter 4, chapters 3, 4, and 5 are very heavy in ICD-10 and all of that knowledge, but you don't have to memorize your guidelines. You don't have to do any of that. Just make sure you know how to use your books and how to find codes. And then whenever you move into the CPT portion, then you will have a better understanding of it. Yes, you can write anatomy terms in your book. Yep. Jennifer, yes, you want to wait until after your course to do Practicode. Practicode is not going to do any favors for you from a CPC testing standpoint, just because the test is all multiple choice and Practicode is all fill in the blank. Yes, Jessa, you can do the CPC without taking the CPB. Kimmy, are you talking about ICD-10 chapters? If you are, I have on our YouTube channel, Medical Coding with Legacy Education, I do have a playlist that breaks down your ICD-10 chapters. What do I advise for time? Do process of elimination 1000%. You will never be able to pass or even complete all of your questions in 4 hours if you do not use process of elimination. So you make sure you hone in on that technique of easily identifying 2 incorrect codes, and then from there use your process of elimination to further narrow it down to that 1 correct code. On your cases, do not read your case first. Look at your answers and look at your codes first, and then read your case, and then that will help you narrow down your correct answers that way as well. All right, guys, I will be right back. I'm going to pause this for just a minute. I have to run to the restroom. All of this water I'm guzzling is going straight through me, so I will be right back. All right, sorry. So yes, Suzanne, 100%. Leave your cases towards the end. And I mean, yes, they are all at the end for a reason. I have some students that will try to skip around a little, and I try to discourage them from doing that just because they have it laid out in a way that if you do it beginning to end, your harder ones are going to be at the end. Yes. So also, Suzanne, make sure that you are looking at those study group videos that are out there on YouTube. That will help cover the process of elimination, how to quickly and correctly eliminate 2 options and all of that as well. So you have your CPCA, you've been putting in applications but getting turned down because of no experience. Unfortunately, that's going to be kind of the norm. We just had somebody on here, I don't know if they're still on or not, that did just land a job. Remember, I'm trying to scroll up real quick and see. If you're still on, let me know. But apply. Like, if you don't take a chance on yourself, but you know, you're basically, if you tell yourself no and you don't put in that application, it's an automatic no. If you put it in, it may be a no, it may be a let's have a conversation, and then somebody might be willing to take a chance on you. You went to DeVry, unfortunately. Yeah, it is not the best from what I've heard. You have everything and you want to take your CPC. Have you done AAPC practice exams? Those are going to be what's going to help test your knowledge and let you know if you're ready. If you have not done those, there are a total of 12. There are a total of 12 AAPC official practice exams out on our website, A through F, and then 1 through 6. Those are going to be your biggest help. Podcasts, as far as like coding goes, like for coding guidelines, I don't have any recommendations for podcasts. I am not one that can listen to people talk and work at the same time. I can listen to like a TV show that I have like watched 850,000 times and like have it as background noise. But I do have on our YouTube channel, so Medical Coding with Legacy Education, out there on that YouTube channel, there is a playlist for ICD-10 CM guidelines that breaks it down chapter by chapter. What should you purchase for book prep? As far as like what pens and things like that, is that what you're asking, Amber? You've been thinking about doing your CCS. So CCS, if you have the want or the intention to go into inpatient coding, then it absolutely 100% would be a great certification. If you are wanting to stay on the professional side of things, 6 in one, half dozen in the other. Do I do one-on-ones? I personally do not do one-on-ones that are not legacy students. However, we do have a coach, Kristen, that does do one-on-ones with students that are not of legacy. So you can go to the link in my bio, and there's a link of how to schedule a session with Kristen up there. Yeah, so if you're wanting to study and prep your books, I do have book prep documents that are out there that you can use. And out there, it will tell you exactly what to write, where to write it. It will help break down guidelines. It will help put in information in those sections from a like CPT standpoint and things like that. Natalie, Sarah is amazing. She is probably one of my favorite humans on this planet. She is all around just an amazing person. Yes, it's the one that's $235. Make sure you use that code TRCC, and it does take 10% off. So it'll take about $23 off of it. So you scored a 65 in December. You can't get yourself to take it again. Pick yourself back up and do it. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. do some practice exams, do some practice scenarios, go out to the YouTube channel out there on Medical Coding with Legacy Education. There's all kinds of great resources out there. Go out to the medicalbillcode.com website, and there's a bunch of, there's a ton of free resources out there on the medicalbillcode.com website. I will be honest, I have never done inpatient coding. I do not hold my CCS. I have tried to learn it multiple times, but that is going to be my next certification that I get. Well, let me rephrase that. I have a certification exam set in 2 weeks, so the 28th, so 2 weeks from today, for the CPB. Now, I've had tons of billing experience. I've worked in billing for years. I've taught billing for years, but I have never actually had the certification. So I'm just getting it so that I can officially be a billing coach with Legacy. But after my CPB is obtained, then I am going to start studying for the CPC exam. Sorry, my head's kind of hurting. Trying to give my, like, do you all ever get, and anybody that gets headaches or migraines, oh my gosh, my fingers are cold and that feels really good. Does your all's hair ever hurt whenever you have a migraine coming on? I do have my CPC. Yes, I have my CPC. I do not have the CPB. Would I suggest getting the CPB? I mean, it's great knowledge. Absolutely 100% great knowledge. It can potentially prove to the employers that you think bigger than just the coding aspect, so that they know that you know why it's important to do things correctly the first time, why we need to do things the way that we're supposed to do them from a coding standpoint. Yeah, the CPB is a wealth of knowledge in itself, even if you're not planning on using it from a billing standpoint. Can you work with a certificate of completion, medical billing, and coding? Most employers are going to require the actual CPC certification. Hey, Rachel. Is it better to take the exam at a center or with a moderator? I tend to tell people to do it at a center because if technology glitches, if anything happens crazy, then it's on the testing center and it's not on you. Versus if you do it at home and your husband walks in or your dogs make too much noise, they can like basically cut off the test at any point. So I like to encourage, if it is possible for you to do it at a testing center, then do it at a testing center. Hey, Sean. What do you know about the CPEDC exam? Is that the pediatrics? I don't know much, if I'm being completely honest and transparent. That is not one that I've ever like looked at. Like I said, totally transparent. I've never looked at it, so I could not even tell you the type of information that would be on it. I would say there's probably going to be a lot of wellness exams. I would say there's going to be a lot of the codes that are age related, and things like that. But that's probably the extent of my knowledge of what would be there. Vaccines. Yeah, you're right, Rachel. Yep. Which is a higher pay for inpatient coding or outpatient? In the beginning, and again, I've never held an inpatient job, but in the beginning, from what I have heard, then inpatient facility can be more like on the higher end. Professional coding, which is what your CPC is going to maybe pay less in the beginning, but depending on the industry that you're in, you can make more. Oh, are you all, Rachel? And they're all at the same rate, whether it be professional or facility? You're taking a billing and coding course, and the coding section's, yeah, giving you a run for your money. The coding portion of it is intense for sure. Absolutely. Half of you are CPC, the other half CCS. Yeah. I know we have some CCS, but I've always worked on the professional side. So, I know that we have a lot of inpatient auditors on our side, but I'll be honest, I don't ever I don't have to train them. So, I don't know how many we have, if I'm being totally honest. Which one would you recommend, AAPC or a HEMA? It totally depends on the way that you want to go. If you want to go inpatient facility coding, you want to go a HEMA. If you want to work for physicians and this professional services that they perform, you want to do your AAPC. If you're looking for a tutor, look at the link in my bio, Sean, or you said you're on Facebook as well. And reach out to Kristen Robinson. She is our coach for students that are not from Legacy. How difficult is it to find a job after passing the exam? It's all going to depend on a multitude of factors, Sandra. So there's not like a magic number. But it depends on if you limit your opportunities at all, meaning you have to work at home, meaning you have to work for a certain employer, meaning you have to have certain things. It's all going to depend. Again, your resume is going to make a difference, where you went to school, the certifications that you hold, things like that. Those will make a difference as well. External cause code throwing a baseball, not struck by, but throwing. Let me see if I can muddle through the external cause index here real quick and help you figure it out. Is it not under throwing, I'm assuming, or you probably wouldn't have asked that? Thrown from, thrown against, or thrown off. So yeah, it wouldn't be there. Let's see if it's under activity, main term activity. Sometimes they'll show up under there. It's not under activity. At least where I would have thought it was. So let me look and see. Hang on, I'm looking here. Rachel, if you're still on, do you have any ideas? The activity baseball. Yeah, that's kind of where my thought process was going. Because if there wasn't like a collision, if they weren't hit by the ball, if they weren't, yeah. That's kind of where my thought process was going, Amanda. Try that one, Suzanne. So in the alphabetic index, it would be activity and then baseball. So I was trying to see if there was even like ball throwing or, but yeah, there's really not anything about the actual like throwing activity itself. You've got baseball on the baseball field, but not sure what he was doing. Yeah. Yeah, Suzanne, let me know. If that one gives you some kind of weird explanation or something, let me know. And we can talk it out if you need to. Yeah, because you've got your place of occurrence as baseball field. And then, yeah. You're welcome. External cause codes are not easy. They still trip me up a lot. Would you say is a bigger city is higher rather than lower cost state? It depends. If you're remote, then usually your salary is not going to be based on where you are. It's going to be based on like where the company is located, if that makes sense. It's so hard to say, to be totally honest. Like, I wish there was that magic formula. But like, for instance, like if I were to go get a job at a hospital or at a doctor's office in my city, then the pay would probably be lower. But because I am a remote employee, then my salary is kind of like the average of everything, if that makes sense. Overexertion. That is overexertion. Was there any verbiage like that in the scenario that was... So the overexertion, let me look at the actual code description for overexertion. So X 50.0. Overexertion from strenuous movement. Okay. I could semi see that now. And then Y99.8 for other external cause status. But then there was no mention of them being a student playing baseball, like on a team or anything. They're just saying they were playing baseball. Sorry, I've got a student texting me, and I'm trying to, not texting me, but messaging me. So I'm trying to, I feel like I'm trying to, the normal guy that I go to get my tattoos, he is not responding. So I don't know if he's out of, like, on vacation or whatever. So I'm trying to either find somebody else to go get a new tattoo. I don't know. Do I think that AI is going to take over coding? No, I really don't. I don't think that it's ever going to completely take over, at least anytime soon, if it ever were to learn enough, but I don't think it's going to learn fast enough. There's always going to need to be a critical thinking component of coding that will always require some type of human element to it. AI, the way that it stands right now, AI is helping people get through charts a little bit faster so that it weeds out like just like the pages that, like if you have 1,000-page record, it helps weed out a lot of those pages and it helps get to where you need to be. But there's a couple examples that I routinely use when anybody asks these questions, because this is the perfect example of context. You have a discharge summary that says, if you experience nausea, vomiting, all of this, then contact your provider because you may have whatever it is, right? So we in our AI that we use for a long, and I mean, I think it's still even doing it. It was pulling those things out as definitive diagnoses. And those aren't even things that the patient was experiencing. It's telling them if you experience those things. And then I've also heard somebody else, this is not my example, but I've also heard somebody else say that their AI had taken and assigned a code for an incarcerated member on the chart, but they had an incarcerated hernia. So those are two totally different things. Incarcerated prisoner versus an incarcerated hernia, meaning that it's a hernia that has a blockage. So in no way, shape, or form are those two things similar. So the human element is always going to have to be there to kind of check AI. So our roles may shift more from extracting them, completely from the record on our own, versus it being kind of more as like a, what's the word? It starts with a C. I keep trying to say component, but that's not the word I'm trying to think of. Basically, it's going to help like assist us in doing it the same way. So this was asked at work. It's a billing question. Is an ER visit granted during a longer global period? If it's anything that's related to the procedure, then those ER visits are more than likely, if it's the same provider, then those ER visits would be included, unless it is like a complication or something like that. But without seeing it, I'd have to see it to be able to answer that a little bit better. Entry-level coding always start with low pay. For instance, Georgia, it's 18 to 21. It totally depends. It depends on the specialty. It depends on where you work. There's going to be some employers that are going to have the exact same job, but one employer might be able to pay more. It just totally depends. The average, from what I have done research on based on like the AAPC salary survey for those that haven't had any experience, and then even like my job that hires entry-level coders every now and then, it's anywhere between 22 and 25 is kind of the average of your entry level. Again, it's all going to depend on employment. It's going to depend on specialty. It's all going to depend on location, all of those types of things. But yeah, 22 to 25 is what I have seen from an average. What other questions you guys have? With no experience in coding, what would you recommend? CPC or the CRC? I mean, so this is kind of a trick question. CRC is going to be a little bit easier to learn because you're only learning one code set. But CRC is also going to kind of pigeonhole you in a way into only risk adjustment coding because you are not learning the CPT code set. So you're not learning the procedures. But CPC, while it is a little bit more difficult because you're learning 3 different code sets versus 1, that will open up more doors than just a CRC. Now, you can start out with CRC and then you can get your CPC or vice versa. But I would recommend doing the the CPC, whether it be the dual course, because we do have a dual course at Legacy, with the CPC and the CRC. So if you are interested in both of those, take a look at our course that we have at the link in my bio. Yes, absolutely, Trace. So you do not have to technically even go to school at all in order to sit for the CPC. You can self-study, you can do everything on your own, but you can 100% do the CPC as long as you have the knowledge. 95% accuracy, hard to meet on the job. Yes and no. I mean, most employers aren't going to expect you to meet 95% accuracy day one. They're not going to expect you to meet 100% of production day one. They're going to kind of do what's known as a ramp up period. And they're going to allow you to work on things and get to that caliber. Nikki, you just signed up. Fantastic. Did you do financing or pay in full? You wish you had done both CPC and CPB. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the billing certification, even if, like I said, even if you're not planning on using it in a billing aspect, it is still invaluable knowledge. 100%. I will say that, I mean, as I've been doing the CPB course, there were things that I haven't touched in a while and I had to refresh on. It's a lot of really, really good information, and it kind of paints a whole picture. Instead of just a, coding aspect, it kind of helps explain things from a somewhat black and white picture into a full picture, why certain things have to be done in certain ways. Paid in full. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, you should be getting that email shortly. I do not have any information on the RHIT. I have never held ACE. I've never held an AHEMA certification. I do know with the RHIT, you do have to have some schooling with that, those specific types of schools. It's not anything I've done, so I wouldn't want to misspeak on that. You want to do the CPC and the CPB, go straight into the CRC since the course has the HCC internship. So the CPC includes the HCC internship as well. Yeah. But if you want to do all 3 of them through Legacy, absolutely. We can definitely do all 3. You would just do one course at a time, get certified, and then move on to the next one. Well, I have personally never... Sorry, I just got a notification. I thought it was going to... What other questions you guys got? I do have to hop off here in about 5 minutes, though, because I do have an errand I have to run. But if y'all have any other questions, then I'm happy to answer those. So we don't actually do job placement assistance, but what we do offer that does help with job placement assistance is a professional resume completed with Sarah Reagan. She is the most amazing person ever. Two, she writes the most amazing resumes. She can make the most mundane, humdrum tasks sound like they are absolutely, like the most riveting things you've ever done. But her resumes are very well written, very professional, and they will tend to get through those like little filters on the applications. Steph, what's your question? V or Y? What are you referring to? So what is coding? The most simplistic answer for that is you take your medical record and then you assign codes and you translate procedures, conditions, reasons for encounters, vaccines, anything and everything. You translate those into codes and submit that portion of the codes to the insurance company so that the provider can get paid. That is the most simplistic way of explaining it. Okay, guys. Well, I do have to hop off of here. But if you guys have any other questions. Oh, do you mean for the external cause codes? Okay, yeah. Save it for class. We'll chat here in a little bit. I do have an errand I have to run. But I will chat with you guys later. And Kay, shoot me a message and we'll talk about the differences between AAPC or legacy. And then if you all have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You all have a good day.